Alpha.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Taking the lead. Stay on target. Bravo lost.
I'll be fine.
Taking Bravo underway. Securing Charlie. Locking down Bravo. Secure.
Just looking at the game.
Right.
Losing Bravo. We claimed the advantage, now hold it. We lost B. They've taken the lead. Taking B. Locking down Bravo. Taking Bravo underway. B secured.
I hope you know something about hand-to-hand combat!
Losing B.
Grenade incoming!
Losing Bravo. Losing B. Bravo lost.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Taking B.
Right.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Losing A. We lost A. Taking C.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Locking down Charlie.
TACOM, I need eyes overhead.
Zone Charlie locked down.
Delinquents!
The lead is ours. Losing Bravo.
Scout call, standing by.
Delinquents! Establish watchdog helo on station above. You just made a fatal mistake!
Syntax incoming! Hostile in front. Enemy
Taking
grenade.
Alpha.
That's fine.
Losing Bravo. Taking A. Losing B.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Ready for move. Throwing stop.
You just made a fatal mistake! Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Securing Zone A.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Nothing personal, kid. Went and got cocky, Dean.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll! You just made a fatal mistake! You just made a fatal mistake! Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
I was totally acting in self-defense.
They're right where we want them. Finish the job.
Fatal mistake!
Area pacified. Move to the LZ. Helo's on the way.
Five kills.
hardpoint. You know what Langley expects. Get it done. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Keep this train final!
Hostile
Now
UAV
that that's out of
established
the way,
overhead.
let's take roll!
Hardpoint identified. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint is active. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint located.
Do you find it amusing?
Hardpoint active.
Delinquents.
Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
You just made a final mistake! Now that that's out of the way, let's take
Hardpoint
roll!
is secure. Hostiles
You
have the
just made a
hardpoint.
final mistake! Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Hardpoint is active. Hardpoint locked down.
You just made a final mistake! You just made a final mistake! You just made a final mistake! You just made a final mistake!
Hardpoint identified.
You just made a final mistake! Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint located. Hardpoint is secure.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint shut down. Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint identified. Hardpoint active. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Your assault package is destroyed.
Hardpoint is secure.
Keep this made a final mistake.
They're requesting LDBR.
Hostiles captured the hardpoint.
Keep this made a final mistake.
They're requesting napalm strike.
Hardpoint locked down.
Final mistake. Delinquent.
Hardpoint located. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Keep this made a final mistake.
Eyes on hostile concussion.
Enemies have destroyed your assault pack.
You're supposed to be the CIA's best. Act like it. Hardpoint is secure. Hardpoint identified. Enemy UAV inbound.
Keep this made a
Hardpoint
final
active.
mistake.
Hardpoint locked down. Hostile UAV established overhead.
Keep this made a final mistake.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure.
Scout pulse available.
Keep this made a final mistake.
Enemy UAV inbound. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint located.
Keep this made a final mistake.
Hardpoint is active. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Keep this made a final mistake.
Hardpoint is secure.
Now that that's out of the way, let's
Hardpoint
I hope you know
identified.
something about hand-to-hand.
Hardpoint active. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint
just
locked
made a
down.
fatal mistake!
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll. He just made a fatal mistake.
Hardpoint
He just
located.
made a fatal mistake.
Hardpoint is active. Hardpoint is secure.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll. Deploying Archangel.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Underwhelming.
Five enemies.
Overdrive. Build your combo score to earn buffs. Brilliant. Keep it that way.
He just made a fatal mistake.
We've taken the lead. Stay on task.
He just made a fatal mistake.
Standing by.
Delinquent. He just made a fatal mistake! He just made a fatal mistake!
They'll wait.
Arcade for use.
He just made a fatal mistake!
We have reports of an infiltrator. Watch your back.
Grenading! He just made a fatal mistake! Enemy grenade! He just made a fatal mistake! Fucking targets! He just made a fatal mistake!
One of your assault packs has been destroyed.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll! Grenade incoming! Incoming Semtex! You just made a fatal mistake!
Your assault pack has been destroyed.
You just made a fatal mistake!
We're ahead, but stay alert. Marking people are no fools.
You just made a fatal mistake!
All threats neutralized. Scour the area. Find whatever they're hiding.
Target removed.
Hardpoint. We have our orders. See it through.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint identified. Enemy RCXD detected. Hardpoint active. Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
mistake!
Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint located. Hardpoint is active. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Enemies destroyed your assault pack.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll! You just made a fatal mistake!
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
You
Hardpoint
just made a
identified.
fatal mistake!
Losing Archangel.
Scout post available.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Hardpoint active. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint located. Hardpoint is active. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure.
Do you think that's funny? Do you think that's funny?
Hostiles have
Now
captured
that
the
that's out of the
hardpoint.
way, let's take roll. You just made a fatal mistake. You just made a fatal mistake.
Hardpoint locked down.
Incoming.
Scout post standing by.
Hardpoint
You just
identified.
made a fatal mistake.
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint active. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down.
Throwing tactical.
Do you think that's funny? You just made a fatal mistake.
TACOM, I need eyes overhead.
Hardpoint located.
Authorizing napalm strike.
Hardpoint is active. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint
You
is
just
secure.
made a fatal mistake.
We got a sniper.
Your assault pack has been destroyed.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Do you find it amusing?
have the hard point. Hard point active. Hard point is secure.
You just made a
Hostile
fatal
UAV
mistake!
established overhead. Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hard point located. Enemy scout pulse detected. Hard point is active. Hard point locked down.
You just made a fatal
Hostiles
mistake!
have the hard point.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Hostile using it.
Hard point is secure.
All phones available.
Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hard point
You
locked
just
down.
made a fatal mistake!
Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point is secure. Hard point identified. Hostiles have captured the hard point.
Engaging hostile.
Hard point active. Hard point locked down.
Do you find it amusing?
Hostiles have the hard point. Your tactics aren't working. Find another way. Hard point is secure. Hard point located. Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hard point is active.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Hard point locked down. Hard point is secure.
Now that that's out of the
Hostiles
way,
have the
let's
hard
take
point.
roll. You just made a fatal mistake!
Hostile RCXD in your AO. Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hard point locked down.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Hard point identified.
Get down. Crash.
Hard point active. Hard point is secure.
Archangel prepping fire.
Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point locked down.
You just made a fatal mistake! You just made a
Requesting
you just
recon
made a
above.
fatal mistake!
Hard point located. Hardpoint is secure.
Hostiles destroyed one of your assault packs.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
You just made a fatal mistake! You just made a fatal mistake!
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint identified. Damn it, Crimson, that's not good enough.
Using equipment.
Overdrive. Earn elimination medals to increase your combo
Now
score.
that you just made a fatal mistake! Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Reclaim the advantage, now hold it. You're falling behind, Crimson.
Enemies destroyed.
Enemy UAV inbound.
Concussion grenade.
Hostile counter UAV established above. Delete the guard. We're winning. Keep it that way.
You just made a fatal mistake!
We've given up the lead. reclaimed the lead.
Take out that CUAV. Tossing impact.
Reclaim the advantage. Now hold it. We've given up the lead.
Standing by.
We've taken the lead. Stay on task. They've taken the lead.
Enemies have destroyed your assault pack.
Get down, frag.
Delinquents! You just made a fatal mistake!
Hostiles.
Alcohol available.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Stand up.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll! Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll! Throwing frag!
Last trap identified.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Enemy UAV inbound. We're falling behind, Crimson. Hostile UAV established overhead.
You just made a fatal mistake!
We're winning. Keep it that way.
I hope you know something about hand-to-hand!
They've taken the lead. The lead is ours.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Sighted on
We're falling behind, Crimson.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Hostiles reclaim the lead.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
They've taken the lead. Stay on task. Gain the advantage. Now hold it. We've given up the lead.
Now that that's out of the way,
You're falling
let's take
behind,
roll.
Crimson. Mission goals agreed. Dispatching teams and lock up survivors.
Spotted blast trap.
Not today, Tavarish.
Dead. Hey.
Good kill.
Hardpoint locked down. The lead is ours. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
You just made a fatal mistake. You just made a fatal mistake.
They've taken the lead.
Incoming frag.
Hardpoint is secure.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Tactical front.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Scout pulse, standing by.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint active. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll.
Sniper frag neutralized.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Delinquent.
Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
You just made a fatal
Hardpoint
mistake.
identified.
Hostile grenade.
Hostile scout pulse in your AO.
Scout pulse available.
Hardpoint is
You
active.
just made a fatal mistake.
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Hardpoint ready for use.
You just made a fatal mistake. You just made a fatal mistake. Do you think that's funny?
Hardpoint located. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint active. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll.
Requesting recon above.
Enemy UAV inbound.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Hardpoint identified. Hardpoint is active. Hardpoint is secure.
Delinquents. Do you think that's funny?
Standing by.
Hostile UAV established overhead.
Now that that's out of the way, let's... You just made a fatal mistake. You just made a fatal mistake.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
You just made a fatal
Hardpoint
mistake.
locked down.
Do you think that's funny?
Hardpoint located. Hostile LDBR drop detected.
You just made a
Hardpoint
fatal
active.
mistake.
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Enemies have destroyed your assault pack. Assault pack destroyed.
Hardpoint identified. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
You just made a fatal...
Hardpoint is active. Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint located.
Enemies. Keep this plane of fight on the...
Hardpoint active. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Capcom, get a care package on my location.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll.
Hellstorm incoming.
Do you think that's funny? Delinquents.
Enemy UAV inbound.
Eyes on hot.
Get a harp in the sky. You're being outplayed, Crimson One. Step it up.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll.
Hardpoint identified. Hardpoint is active. Hardpoint is secure.
You just made a fatal mistake. You just made a fatal mistake.
Watchdog Helo on my grid.
Enemy Hellstorm launch detected.
Delinquents. Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hostile UAV established overhead. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint located. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint active. Hardpoint is secure.
I hope you know something about hand-to-hand combat. You just made a fatal mistake.
Enemies have destroyed your assault pack.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint identified.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Hardpoint is active. Hardpoint locked down. Landing won't complete. Domination. Secure the objective.
Movimiento.
Securing Alpha. Zone A secure.
You just made a fatal mistake! Delinquents!
Securing B.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll. You just made a fatal mistake. Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll. You just made a fatal mistake. Now that that's...
We're losing Alpha. Losing A. Locking down Bravo.
Now
Taking
that
B.
that's out of the way, let's take roll. Delinquents.
Semtex
Taking Bravo underway. Destroyed Alpha.
You just made...
Assault pack has been destroyed.
Enemies rearming.
Archangel going hot. You just made a fatal mistake.
Semtex. Eyes on enemy tunnel.
Delinquents.
Deploying scorch streak.
Taking Bravo underway. Bravo is ours.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Toro requesting LVBR.
You just made a fatal mistake. You just made a fatal mistake.
Destroyed your assault pack.
Losing B.
Toro authorizing scorch streak.
Losing Bravo.
mistake!
Deploying sentry turret.
Scout drone, stand by.
Delinquent.
Bravo lost.
You just made a fatal mistake! You just made a fatal mistake!
Locking down Bravo.
Delinquents.
Bravo zone secure. Losing B.
Deploying arcane gun.
Fatal mistake!
Get a UAV on ready. Deploying RCXD.
Losing Bravo. Losing B.
I hope you know something about hand-to-hand combat! Now that that's out of the way, let's
Secure
take
C.
roll!
Lost B.
Rearming.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Securing B.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Taking B. Securing B. Taking Bravo underway. Securing Charlie. Bravo is on. We're losing Alpha.
Scout drone available.
Losing Bravo. Bravo lost.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Locking down Bravo.
You just made a fatal mistake!
B secured. Securing C.
Deploying Scorch Street.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Losing B. Locking down Charlie. Taking B.
Arcade going on.
All over you. Have some fun. Securing B.
Now that that's out of the way, let's... You
Okay,
just
so
made
go now.
a fatal mistake!
Losing A. Taking Bravo underway. Taking C.
Enemies have destroyed your assault pack.
Locking down Bravo. The CIA against a handful of goddamn criminals. This is the best you can do.
Target removed.
Overdrive. CIA, you're cleared hot. Work your frag list.
Now that that's out of the way, let's
The lead
take
is
roll.
on.
Enemy was sent
That was totally acting in self-defense.
You just made a fatal mistake. I hope you know something. You just made a fatal mistake.
We're winning. Keep it that way.
Sniper threat eliminated.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll. You just made a fatal mistake.
Assault pack has been destroyed.
You just made a fatal mistake. You just made a fatal mistake.
Hostiles reclaimed the lead.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll.
We've claimed the advantage, now hold it. You're falling behind, Crimson.
You just made a fatal mistake. Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll.
We've taken the lead. Stay on task. Hostiles reclaimed the lead. The lead is on.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Shock charge deployed.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll. You just made a fatal mistake. You just made a fatal mistake. Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll. You just made a fatal mistake. Now that
Hold
that's
the
out of
line,
the way,
Crimson.
let's take roll.
Grenade inbound.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Enemy grenade.
Guess what, guys?
We're winning. Keep it that way.
Lazy shit out of me.
We've given up the lead.
You just made a fatal mistake! Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll. You just made a fatal mistake. Do you think that's funny?
First time split.
Kane requesting UAV.
You just made a fatal mistake. You just made a fatal mistake! You just made a fatal mistake!
Deploying RCXD.
Enemy UAV inbound.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll! Do you think that's funny?
Enemies have destroyed the assault pack.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Watch your fire.
You just made a fatal mistake! You just made a fatal mistake! You just made a fatal mistake!
Took out that sleeper agent.
assault pack has been destroyed. Our vehicle ready for use.
TACCOM, get me a UAV.
Feel that? They're about to break. Give them a nudge.
Impact going out.
They never stood a chance. Proceed to extract center.
Domination. Playtime's over. Let's see what you're made of.
Objective capture of rockets.
Don't see secure.
Incoming frag. Flashbang.
Tossing flash. Sniper's down. Stun inbound.
Taking Bravo underway.
Locking
Take
it
it
down. Keep them off. Enemy grenade.
Losing B.
Let's dance.
Bravo lost.
Enemy on.
Lighting Molotov.
Enemy UAV inbound.
Taking the objective. Watch my six. Watch out.
Securing out.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Sending frag. Incoming frag. Revenge is my middle fucking name. Deploying assault back.
Locking down Bravo.
Five kills. That's a long one.
They're taking C.
Eyes on enemy.
Watch me pointing that shit ass hat. Incoming flashbang.
We're losing Charlie.
Designating course to LDBR.
Grenade out. Frag thrown. Stun out.
They're taking C.
Frag thrown.
Trophy system. Watch out.
Sniper's toast. Let's move.
We're losing Charlie.
Sending frag.
Taking A.
Throwing stun.
All zones lost. Lock down A.
Enemies have destroyed your assault pack.
You fucking blind?
Hostile UAV established overhead. Securing B. Losing A.
Frag thrown.
We're losing Alpha. Enemy UAV inbound. Losing A. Rocket down Bravo.
Target deleted.
We lost all zones. Taking Alpha. Taking
Taking objective.
Sending frag.
Zone Alpha captured. Hostile UAV established overhead.
Watch out! Grenade!
We're losing Alpha.
Tossing concussion! Enemy spring mine!
Taking Bravo underway.
Throwing stun! Took out their sharpshooter.
Watchdog helo incoming
Enemy
on your
grenade.
location. Enemy UAV inbound.
Grenade out! Enemy watchdog overhead. Confirming kill. Hostile, 12 o'clock.
Lock down Bravo. You gonna let a bunch of company assholes beat you? Fight back, damn it! Losing A. Moving with docking. We're losing Alpha.
Dropping assault back.
Hostile UAV established overhead.
Sighted on target.
Archangel making noise.
Good effect on target.
Scout available.
Damn it, they must have hacked our comms. Go dark. We'll pick you up
Escape and
later.
evade, people. Don't let them take you alive.
Watch out, grenade! Neutralizado. Sniper threat defused.
Hardpoint is secure. We claim the advantage, now hold it.
Do you think that's funny?
captured the hard point.
You just made a final mistake.
Hard point located.
Now that
Point
that's out of
active.
the way, let's take roll.
Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point is secure. Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hard point locked down. Hard point identified.
Using stun. Hostile concussion.
Hard point is active. Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point is secure.
You just made a fatal mistake.
Hostiles have captured the hard point.
Establish watchdog helo on station
Now that
above.
that's out of the way, let's take roll.
Hard
Do
point
you
locked
think
down.
that's funny?
Delinquent. Sensor turns up.
Now that that's out
Hostiles
of the
have
way,
the hard
let's take
point.
roll.
Get an LDVR on my mark.
Did you find it amusing? You just made a fatal mistake.
Hard point located.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll.
Hard point active. Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hard point is secure.
Destroyed your assault pack.
You
Hostiles
just
have the
made a
hard
fatal
point.
mistake. You just made a
Hard point
fatal
locked
mistake.
down. Hard point identified. Hard point is active. Hard point is secure. Hostiles have captured the hard point.
Enemy using shock charge.
Assault pack has been destroyed.
You just made a fatal mistake. You just made a fatal mistake. Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll.
No requesting LDVR.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take
Hard
roll.
point located. Hard point locked down. Hard point active.
You just made a fatal
Hostiles have the
mistake.
hard point.
Using stun.
Hard point is secure. Hostiles have captured the hard
I
point.
hope you know something about hand-to-hand combat.
Hostiles detected.
Scout pulse failure.
You just made a fatal mistake! Now that that's out of the way, let's...
Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point locked down. Hard point identified. Hard point is active. Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hard point is secure.
You just made a fatal mistake! Get down! You just made a fatal mistake! You just made a fatal mistake!
Enemy destroyed your assault package. Scout pulse standing by.
Aim this! Incoming!
Hardpoint located. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint active.
Enemy standing.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Clear. Sniper is down. Enemy assault pack.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take roll!
Hostile counter UAV established above. Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hostile scout pulse in your AO. Hardpoint locked down. We're ahead, but stay alert. Marshall's people are no fools. Hardpoint identified.
Enemies, echo dead. Enemies rearmed.
Hardpoint is active. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Now that that's out of the way, let's take...
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Eyes on Sentex.
You just made a fatal mistake!
Hardpoint locked down.
You just made a fatal mistake! You just made a fatal...
RJ available.
Hardpoint located. Hardpoint active. Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hostile UAV established overhead. Hardpoint identified.
You find it amusing!
Hardpoint is active. Hardpoint locked down.
Enemy grenade. Right.